Welcome back to Pearlmania500, the podcast where a husband and wife duo sit across a table from each other, staring each other longingly in the eyes, and then regurgitating deep lore that they've been studying all week. Deep lore that can tickle, deep lore that can horrify, deep lore that could just be...
a good time.
Yeah, sure, as long as Fleischman's there. But this week, we're not regurgitating lore back and forth, and we're not alone in this room.
What are we doing here?
Look to your right now.
Holy shit.
Yes.
How did he get in here?
Because I picked him up last night, and he slept at the house.
Oh, shit.
His name was Dusk, is here.
Oh.
He is in the building for a very special season finale
Of Fucktober.
of Fucktober. That's right. It's not the season finale of the show. That's coming soon. But it is the season finale of Fucktober.
Yeah.
So with that, we're going to hand this over to His Name Was Dusk to make sure that we close out in the funnest way possible. His Name Was Dusk. Take it away.
Before we get started, can you do me a favor and hit that No Nazis button?
Oh, the No Nazis button?
Let's
Okay.
go.
And that's a no Nazi guarantee.
So I know that normally the two of you spew lore onto each other. I appreciate that you're not doing that here now while
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Although the intense eye contact you were making during the intro was, I kind of was like, should I leave? Like,
Yeah.
should I? But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing a game called Monster of the Week, which is a tabletop RPG, much like Dungeons and Dragons, except instead of based on fantasy books, it's based on TV shows, Monster of the Week TV shows. Your Buffy the Vampire Slayer, your
Fringe.
Supernatural, Fringe.
I love Fringe. Whoa.
Yeah, Fringe is a great show.
Who doesn't love
Yeah.
Fringe? Olivia Dunham was great.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Wait, the dolphins in that show didn't
R.I.P.
like Fringe.
The dolphins in the show?
They didn't like Fringe.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't remember the dolphins from that show.
He was like a weird scientist who did experiments on dolphins, and it was based on that real scientist that did all those weird experiments on dolphins.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
The lady.
No, but there was a scientist that
There was
overwatched.
a lady.
Okay,
You know what I'm
no.
talking
Okay. Let's.
We're getting sidetracked.
I
We're getting
know.
sidetracked.
I go right to lore. I
know.
can't help
Also-
it.
Stop. Turn your lore brain off.
Also, talking about scientists that do experiments, like we get real dangerous on breaking that no Nazi guarantee button.
Yeah.
But we're going to be playing. We made a call earlier in the week so that we could come up with your characters for the game, and I actually think now that we're doing this again, why don't we do a little bit of a previously on? So Monster of the Week basically presupposes that there is a TV show that y'all are playing.
Okay.
And we're going to just have you each tell us one thing that happened involving your character in a previous episode that we haven't seen, just so that we can kind of get a flavor for your character a little bit. Alex, I've played role-playing games with you before, so I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
If your character Stevenson,
It's Steve Stevenson.
sorry, Steve Stevenson.
Yeah.
If you could give us what is a scene that we see at the beginning of this episode about something that happened in a previous episode?
Okay, it would be previously on Steve Stevenson, and you see him sitting at a computer. It's a 90s computer, though.
Sure.
It's one of those old ones where it's like that faded manila type of computer, and he's sitting there at his desk that's clearly in like not a great part of an office in front of a row of filing cabinets, and he's sitting there, he's looking at it, he goes, oh no, she's in danger, and that's it.
That's the whole thing. Great.
Yeah.
Love it. And clearly it's just like an Excel file. He's not really looking at anything. Like
Yeah,
they didn't put a bunch of graphics into
they
the
didn't even
computer.
show you that side of it.
Great.
All you can see is that his face is lit from the computer monitor.
Love it.
Yeah. But yeah, the same way that one hip hop video
Yes.
years
Yeah,
ago
yeah.
where it was Excel and she's getting text on her two-way pager, but it's actually just a Microsoft
I guess
Excel.
that's Ashanti, right?
Yeah, Ashanti. And so if we could get from a previously on a scene that happened in the show with Agent Jane Doe.
Agent Jane Doe. So dark vignette screen, and you just see her hold up a gun to a man's head and just put a bullet between his eyes. He doesn't die. But green goo starts coming out, and she says, I fucking knew it. And then she starts mumbling under her breath about fucking paperwork. End of scene.
Love it.
Yep.
And as we see those two scenes, we also see a scene where a shadowy figure in a pork pie hat is saying, "What did I get into myself? What did I get into with these guys?" And then we just see the first scene, which is we see a title card that says Lincoln Financial Field, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
We open backstage at Lincoln Financial Field, where we see a smart, well-dressed young man in dress slacks and a tight black t-shirt watching from the wings. As the camera pans past, we can see the stage from the wings, where we can see a woman wearing a bejeweled two-piece emerald skirt and tank top, and hear the chorus of the 2014 4 Weeks at #1 Billboard hit single Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. We see a close-up of the man as he lip-syncs along with the song. The music stops as we hear Taylor whisper the titular line quietly into the mic one final time. "Shake it off." The crowd goes wild. We see the man immediately puts a walkie-talkie to his ear as he pulls a hair off of a lovely long burgundy dress on a hanger that he's holding. He says, "Shake It Off is finished and we are go for costume change 2. We'll need water bottles stage left and all of the dancers in position." Hold on, I think someone's back here. I'm hearing a weird sound. He sets the hanger down and goes off between two curtains to investigate. It better not be another one of those fucking paparazzi. She's had it up to here with... What the hell is... His voice cuts off with a whistling squelch, and we hear a weird hissing, grinding sound, and then quiet. The camera pans back as Taylor walks off the stage and looks around. Chet? Stafford? This isn't funny. Are you there? The camera cuts to a black and white, low-to-the-ground angle from between the curtains. The camera tilts left and right as if quizzically looking out from the curtains at the 12-time Grammy Award-winning singer of the 2019 hit Cruel Summer, Taylor Swift. Then, to herself, she says, "No worries, Chet. I guess I'll just do the whole change by myself," she says, picking up the dress off the ground, not noticing a small black stain at the bottom of her dress. Taylor quickly puts the dress on over her outfit. The camera begins to move forward towards her quickly, and we hear the hissing, grinding sound begin again. But Taylor heads back out onto the stage to a roar of applause. The camera keeps shifting, and the angle follows her back onto the stage before turning back, where on the ground, we see a dark pool of blood on the backstage, right as Taylor says into the mic, "This song is called Bad Blood," and the crowd, once again, explodes in applause. And we cut.
There's a place where you can't stay when the world gets too insane. Yeah, when the world gets too inane, tune in to Pearlmania. Brony talks and pony jars and saying that sonic race just fitness scams and grifters, damn, and various other miscellanea. So where's this place where you can stay to let those Pearlmans save ya? Pearlmania, Pearlmania, Pearlmania 500. Take it away, Pearlmans, and remember to smile.
It's so weird having you say the theme while you're sitting across from us.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
nice.
want to be clear about that.
I don't think it's weird. I think it's nice.
I loved that intro.
Thank you.
That was a great cold open.
No
that
air
like
horn?
any show. I was busy doing so many things
Fair.
at
You
once.
were dancing around a bit.
I was dancing around a bit. Forgot to hit the air horn during it. It happens. That air horn is live every time, y'all. But I love that. I love that cold open.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, we cut back from commercial.
Oh, we come back from commercial.
We see
Okay.
the same backstage area.
Okay.
With a title card on the screen that says "The Next Day."
Okay.
On the ground, we see the body of Chet Stafford, what's left of him, is surrounded in yellow police tape. We see a 30-something black-haired male police detective is talking to someone as the two of you walk into the scene.
Yep.
Seeing you enter, Detective Kirk Daniels waves you over and tells the beat cops giving you a hard time to let you through. Could you introduce Agent Jane Doe to us, and could you describe what she looks like and how she's dressed when she's on a case?
Sure. So Agent Jane Doe, I said that she has very much Kira Nerys energy for those Deep Space Nine fans, in Banana Republic blazers and pantsuits. You know, it's mid-tier. She ends up getting a lot of things on her suit, so she doesn't buy the fanciest suits because she just has to end up throwing them away a lot. She's an overachieving oldest child. She absolutely hates bureaucracy and all the red tape that goes along with working for companies. She got this job because she's just really good at showing up and not freaking out. Basically, she started an internship and things kept happening. She kept getting promoted accidentally. She didn't actually care or notice to care. She just kept showing up to do her job. She does have a bit of a savior complex, which led her into this internship, in that she wanted to help people, and she thought this would be a good way. But every day, the bureaucracy of working for this program just beats her down in her will to help others just a little bit.
Right. The Winchester Agency.
The Winchester Agency.
Now,
yeah.
I do have one quick question.
Sure.
Is Jane played by Nana Visitor?
No, she's. You want me to describe what she looks like?
Yes.
I
Well,
have
you
her
said
head.
she has Kira energy.
I said energy, the vibe.
Right. So I just
she's
wanted to.
tough. She's really forthright. I would say that she has very short blonde hair, slicked back, tight. Just again, this is out of her face. It's for work only. She does not care. She goes to the hair salon monthly just to keep the color up, but it's not like it's just like it's just a way to look so people don't give her too much fucking attention. And yeah, she's muscular, thin, because she works out because she's angry.
Great. And could you introduce just a step behind? We see Steve Stevenson. Could you introduce us to Steve Stevenson? Describe what he looks like and how he dresses when he's on a case.
Sure. So just picture Kevin James. I think we're mostly there.
Okay.
But like, yeah. So button down, short sleeve shirt, green plaid.
Yeah.
But like that cheaper green JCPenney's plaid.
Like a
He's-
lighter green plaid?
Yeah, like a lighter green with darker green lines and white. So it's like that general with a pocket, but nothing in the pocket.
Got it.
But it's not. It also hasn't been ironed.
Okay.
It's tumble dry low.
It's wrinkly, yeah.
It's not wrinkly. It's tumble dry low.
Okay.
It's not creased. It's not sharp. It's just. He's also wearing khakis and white New Balance sneakers.
Okay. Gotta wear those white New Balance.
White New Balance sneakers with black socks.
Black socks.
Yes.
Under khakis
Yes.
with white New Balances.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and they are gold toe, so they're not really comfortable.
Great.
They're those like cheap gold toe that you get like when you're like, oh no, I don't have socks for the funeral, and then you throw them in the drawer, and then that continues throughout the rest of your life.
Sure.
That's what he's wearing.
Okay.
And he's briefs, not boxers.
Okay, but we probably can't tell.
No, you can tell.
Okay.
He walks in
His
that way.
khakis are kind of tight.
No, well, yeah, in the wrong places.
Great.
But they're also a little too long. Because he's still like he doesn't think of himself as an adult, so he's never gotten like the proper sizing.
Right.
He just goes for waist. He didn't really look at length.
Right. But one of the reason that we can see the black socks is that he has accidentally tucked one of his pant legs into the black socks.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Because actually that's close.
Okay.
He stops to bend down and tie his shoe, and when he does that, you know how like when you take a knee, you then see full
could just
sock.
see it. Right.
Yeah, and like Jane notices it and like rolls her eyes.
Yes.
The best way to describe it, so he was a case analyst who got a lateral promotion, which is not a promotion. It's just a lateral move.
Right.
But he tells himself it's a promotion. It's for the same amount of money. He got no extra benefits for it. But that took him from the office out into the field.
Right.
And he...
Well, he was working for the Winchester Foundation.
Yes.
And they are the ones who created and fund the Winchester Agency.
Yes.
Which is the ones that are trying to hunt down. They try to track down cryptids and anomalous creatures and things.
Yeah. And so I think the best way to sum up Steve Stevenson is he's a man in his late 30s who regularly listens and calls into sports talk radio shows while sitting in his car.
Great. So important question for the both of you. Were either of you at the Taylor Swift concert?
But Steve couldn't afford it.
No.
Okay. So
He would have gone though. There's like, you know,
he definitely was in the parking lot, maybe. Like,
no, he wouldn't have.
Okay.
No, because you got to pay for the parking.
Okay,
the
fair,
parking lot
fair,
for
fair.
things like that.
Fair.
Like, and he doesn't live in the city.
right.
He lives outside the city.
Got it.
He tells people when he's not in the area that
Right,
he's
he's
from
like,
Philadelphia,
uh-huh.
but he doesn't.
Got it.
Yeah.
Jane would never admit to liking Taylor Swift.
Okay. Got it. So as you walk in, Detective Daniels, who is the one who told you to come in, he contacted Jane. And he really doesn't love the whole cryptid thing. He's not really one to believe in that stuff, but he also knows that y'all have a somewhat proven track record. So when something is weird and he can't right away explain it, he has gotten into the habit of calling you out.
Yeah.
Mostly to try to rule out anything weird.
Yeah.
Like so he motions you over and shows you the body. As you can see, the body is, I said, what's left of him, because his arms and legs are gone.
Oh, okay.
His head is has been mangled somewhat, and he is just in a pile on the blood, on top of this puddle of blood. And he basically describes what they saw. He says the lacerations are unlike anything we've ever seen. It looks like someone made some kind of weapon out of teeth or something, because the teeth marks look like they were spinning.
Oh, okay.
And he says we can't find the missing body parts, but. And check this out. And he like lifts up the yellow police tape and motions for you to follow him. And then he shows you the blood, and he's like, somebody get some lights on in here. And when he turns on the light, as the blood gets further from the body, it starts to look more like regular blood. But closer to the body and around where all the cuts are, there's this black, oily substance that seems to have permeated all of the blood. And he says, can you make heads or tails out of that?
I mean, yeah. Great. Get to do this again.
So what do you do to investigate?
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is tell everybody to get on the other side of the fucking tape.
Okay.
Okay? It's my crime scene now.
So, all right. And so, like, you see, like, a crime scene investigator who's there and is like, but I was told to collect... And, like,
No.
The detective is just like, you heard her. And he's just like, okay. And, like, he just, like, drops what he's holding into the little bag and closes it and just stands there watching the two of you. He's like, are they cops? Like, what? Like, he's like, just shut up.
Just get out of here. You don't want any of this.
Don't worry, Jane. I'm going to take some pictures.
If you could stand back.
And
you could stand back.
Steve Stevenson pulls out a small digital camera that is from the early 2000s.
Love it.
And is working the zoom because it's one of those. It's
Sure,
like
sure.
it's also I want to be clear. It's a red camera.
Yeah.
It's not professional in any sort of way, and he's holding it the way a mom holds it when she's trying to take a picture at a wedding.
Yeah.
And it's taking too long. And he's just like, hold up, don't touch anything yet.
As you are doing this, and Jane says, "Could you step back?" You like look down, and one of your white New Balances is just standing right in the like halfway in the blood puddle.
Oh, sugar!
As you like hop back, you start getting just bloody footprints on everything. And
I think the guy came this way after he did the murder.
so. What is it you do? What is your procedure for investigating?
So after I clear the area and I ignore Steve
Of course.
immediately and just shake my head in dismay as he steps through all of whatever evidence we have here, I'm going to start to look through this person's pockets. I'm going to actually look under their shirt because I want to see the skin that hasn't been cut open. I want to see if there's any signs that whatever this oily substance is it going through the veins? Is there anything growing inside of him? This is something I've dealt with before. I got to check for larvae at this point.
Great. So if you look at your character sheet, I just opened up the Investigate a Mystery tab.
Okay.
I'm going to have you roll Investigate a Mystery.
Got it. Submit.
Partial success. So you get one hold here. And so you get to ask one of the questions on the list here about the situation, and then I will answer it with what's going on in the, based on that.
I'm going to say, where did this go?
Where did it go? Okay.
Where did it go?
Sure. So as you're investigating, you like lift up the shirt and stuff. I'm going to tell you just a couple things that you just notice right off the bat, which is right around the cuts. You can see that his veins are also turning black. So like the whatever it was that did the cuts seems to have caused this thing. As you look at this, you see that there are tracks in the blood that don't appear to be human.
They're not Steve's.
They are not Steve's. Like, in fact, because Steve is jumping around here, you kind of see, oh, those are non-human footprints. They look almost like a four-fingered hand.
Okay.
With what looks to be a talon of some type. And it appears that it goes further back into the backstage area. As you go backstage, you recognize there is a area under the stage for, costume changes or fancy stuff. It seems to have gone there. As you follow the trail, you see that it has gone into what appears to be a sewer, like a sewer grating. The sewer grating has been removed.
Okay.
And it seems like forcefully. So that's what you see. That's where it seems to have gone. Steven, what are you doing as you've taken these pictures, stepped in the blood?
Yeah, well, I asked around for a paper towel. Does anyone have a paper towel, like, to try to clean some of the blood off my shoe? And like while doing that, I'm bouncing around like on one foot, like wiping the blood off. And I feel like he would like try to lean against the clothing racks. And then while he's leaning against the clothing racks, like he's looking into the clothing racks, kind of like, what's in here? Like, and just like looking at different stuff in that general vicinity of where the monster would have come from.
Sure.
So like, I guess he's kind of investigating the area around the outside of the tape.
Okay. Well, and you have this move, oops.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was implying.
Great.
Yeah.
Which says if you want to stumble across something important, tell the keeper. You will find something important and useful, although not necessarily related to your immediate problem.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. I'm oopsing.
Yeah. I think you are like doing this. You're like absent-mindedly with this paper towel, and I think it's like one of those very small like.
Oh, it's one of the thirds.
Yes,
it's not a regular size paper towel. It was one of the ones where they're like, yeah, you can do a third or a two,
and you're just like trying to wipe this blood off of your really otherwise immaculate New Balance.
They were very new.
It's like everything else of you is a little bit frumpy, but the New Balances were really
they're always on point.
So you're sitting there trying to wipe the blood off, and you're leaning on these these dresses, kind of like looking at them, and you knock over the dresses. Like you knock over the whole stand of dresses.
Embarrassing.
Very embarrassingly. But luckily no one appears to have noticed. And as you are trying to lift the whole stand up, you realize that you have stepped on something. And lifting it up to your feet, you see that it appears to be at first it looks like a black feather, but then you realize it's actually like a green feather that is matted in this black, oily ichor.
Okay. Does it look like it came from any of the dresses? Because these are costumes, so I mean, some of them could have feathers.
I would say that you find like several, like there's like a whole boa section.
Yeah.
But you can't really match the green to any of the boas. So you'd say no. Like this looks like something different.
Okay.
And the ichor does look very similar to what was on the body.
Gotcha. I am going to turn to one of the cops and like especially one of the crime scene techs, be like, do you have a baggie? Like, do you guys have any of your drug baggies around? Not for drugs. It's not for drugs. I just need a bag.
The two cops that you're talking to like look at each other and then like look back at you like, what do you want it for?
I have a granola bar I can't finish.
Oh, is it one? Okay, you know what? Roll a charm roll.
All right. Failure.
A failure. Okay. So
I'm really good at charm.
I know
have a
you
+2
really
at
are.
charm, and I still rolled a 5.
You rolled a 1 and a 2. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think one of them is like, "What are you doing eating at a crime scene? There's like a dead body," and the other one's like, come on, man. You know those granola bars, they explode everywhere." And he's like, "No, man, he shouldn't be. What is this guy doing here? Is that blood? Are you tracking blood everywhere?"
Hey, listen, I just need a bag. Can you just give me a bag so that way I can go find my boss?
He says, "No, I'm not giving you an evidence bag. I've got more important things to do." And he walks off. And the other guy's like, "Dude, I'm sorry. He's really on edge. He's got a lot going on at home right now."
Oh, really?
Is everything like, what is it? One of those like really like those hard ones? They explode everywhere.
In Nature Valley?
Yeah.
Nature Valley. They're
yeah.
really dry. I really could. And then Kevin.
You don't happen to have another one, do you?
Oh, no, man. That's my last one. That's why I'm trying to save it.
Okay.
Yeah. I need it for later. I never know. On this job, you never know when you're going to get lunch.
I know. And I didn't pack anything.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
So is that a no to the bag?
I don't. He's the one with the bags.
Oh, okay. So that's when
hoping
Steve
for
just puts it directly into his pocket.
Into his khaki pocket.
Into his khaki pocket.
Great.
And then goes traipsing off after Jane.
Great. So Jane, you're just getting back from finding where it possibly went.
Yeah.
Probably. Well, I'm guessing. Do you let the detective know?
No.
No. Okay. And so the detective is like, "Well, any leads? Do you know what it might be?"
I have some calls I need to make, but I don't think that we're going to be able to discuss it just yet. I promise to send over pertinent information as it becomes available to your office.
He's like, "Right," and he rolls his eyes like a bit, and he's like, "Sure, I'm sure we'll be hearing from you shortly."
And that's when Steve walks up with a little ruled notebook, like one of those little spiral, like the little ones. You know what I'm talking about? Like a little notepad. And he goes, Detective Kirk.
It's please don't call me by my first name.
Detective Kirk. Can I have your email? That we'll email you our report. You guys do email, right? I mean, like,
yes, I have an email. Of course, I have an email.
Is it okay? Let me just guess. Is it Detective Kirk at Philly
PPD.
What?
Philly PPD.
Philly
Philadelphia Police Department PPD.
It's Kirk Daniels.
Is there a dot in there?
No, it's Kirk Daniels.
Kirk Daniels.
All one word.
Okay.
All lowercase.
All lowercase.
At ppd.gov.
ppd.gov. Okay, so there's a dot between the PPD and the gov, but not between Kirk and Daniels.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
If you put the dot in between Kirk and Daniels, it will go to the other Kirk Daniels.
Gotcha. There's another Kirk Daniels?
Yes, there are two Kirk Daniels that work at the Philly Police Department.
Okay.
The other one's not a cop.
Same
He's
precinct?
just a secretary there.
Oh, okay. They're called administrative assistants now.
Okay, sure.
All right.
We'll be getting back to you.
Oh yeah, Jane, I got some. Jane, we gotta call back to base. We gotta go
Why?
because we gotta make a call. And he just starts
Yeah, I
shuffling
think
off towards the
we
van.
cut there to y'all in the van as you are heading. You're heading somewhere. We don't know where it is yet, but
Yeah. Steve reaches into his pocket and he just pulls out this gross feather, and he's like, "I need to change my pants." As he holds the oily feather in front of you.
Oh my God. What? Where did you get that?
I found it under the. There was a bunch of dresses, and I checked. This is not a feather from the dresses.
Okay.
This is. I don't know what this is, or where it's from. But I was like, "That's different."
I'm rubbing my forehead in exhaustion. Okay.
But
Why are you holding it with your bare hand?
Well,
We've gone through this so many times.
Because
you cannot hold these things with your bare hands.
because the cops wouldn't give me a bag.
Why?
Because they thought.
Oh my God.
Listen, I didn't want the cops to see it.
How many times do I have to ask you? There, we have a kit. You bring the kit for when there's evidence, and there's bags, and there's fucking gloves, Steve. There's fucking gloves. You're still holding it. You don't even know what that blackness is.
I mean,
is it burning?
No.
Do you have any open cuts on your hands I should know about?
No.
Okay.
It smells funny, though.
Oh, great. We're pulling over. Go to the back, get the kit, and put it in a fucking bag, Steve.
Okay, I do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just go into the back. You've got like a whole bunch of like supplies back here, a kit, another pair of khakis.
Yeah.
And
babe, also, I use some Purell, right? Clear my hands, and now I'm eating a Nature Valley bar.
you know how like really sticky, oily stuff like doesn't always come off,
like tree sap.
Yes. So like it's off.
Yeah.
Like you don't feel it that much anymore.
Yeah.
But it's still there. Like there is like little bits of black between your like fingerprints and stuff.
Yeah. Also, does it do that thing when you get like something really sticky on your hands where like you can still see your like the residual on your skin as you try to pull your fingers apart?
Yes, though it is viscous when it touches itself.
Okay.
So it's like not like it's sticky on your hands, but it isn't really sticky on itself.
Okay, got
it.
It
feels more oily on itself.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna say that as you are doing this, we see Jane is driving your van now as you are heading to your lab.
Yep.
You all have a person you go to, and you show up at. Hold on, I'm looking for my NPCs. You show up at the Society for Philadelphia Cryptids and Anomalies, which is a connected organization, but
a partner
it's
program.
not Winchester.
Yeah, partner program.
As in, you are partners with them.
Yeah.
Winchester is not.
Yeah.
Like, you don't always trust the Winchester labs after a couple things that have happened where they gave you what seemed like intentionally false information.
Yeah, I need independent review sometimes.
So you go here, which it looks like a it's like a garage, but like an independent garage, like someone's garage.
Yeah.
And you know that Gray Hollis works out of here. Basically, anytime you go there, Gray Hollis is non-binary, played by Tig Notaro. And you see every time you come here, they are working on their on a car.
Yeah.
And so you see they roll out as you walk up, and they see you and they're like, "Oh, what is it this time?"
Well, we got another one.
Okay. Well, let me wash my hands. And they get like orange, like oil, like grease, like degreaser stuff, wash their hands off and,
lava soap.
Yes, exactly. And then they go to where there's like a big tool bench and they, move a wrench to the side and then shift the whole tool bench off, like over to the side. And there is this big lab. And I say a big lab, but I mean, it's like 3 times the size of like a normal sized room. It's like pretty big. It's not like super complicated. It's a 1-person lab. And they
are there like beakers and Bunsen burners?
There's some beakers, some computer screens, some microscopes.
Yeah, there's a picture of the periodic table, like a poster of the periodic table on the wall.
There's a poster of the periodic table.
The lighting.
But it has like 7 other elements.
Okay, but that only like a true fan would notice.
Right.
Like if you pause and were to look in real close, you're like, there's extra elements on there.
Right. They're like, they've got Macron, which is one of the ones that we learned earlier in the season. And then they're like, wait, what are the ones after Macron? But they don't really show you it quickly enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fluorescent lighting.
Of course.
Green tiles.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted, that just feels very...
Yep.
Okay. And there's a drain in the middle of the room.
Of course.
There's a drain. Hose it down.
Also, eye wash station right next to it. Just in case.
Yep.
And Gray says, well, show me what you got.
Steve, did you bring in the sample?
Oh, yeah. And I reach into my pocket and I pull out the thing.
Plastic baggie with the...
But now it's in a plastic baggie. And I'm like, here you go. And I toss it.
Okay.
They their eyes open wide, but they catch it like no problem between two fingers, like not touching the specimen, right? Yeah. And then they're like, okay, Steve, what did we talk about?
What are you talking about?
We don't know what this is?
Yeah.
You don't throw it.
Okay, well, I mean, you caught it.
Yeah, some of these cryptids have weird properties. You don't know.
Well, that one's fine. I already touched it.
Okay.
It was in my pocket for a bit.
And like looks at it and says, okay, so this is like your pocket lint, I assume?
Yes.
Great. And like they like look over at you like sigh like empathetically to you, like
we're in this again every fucking day with him.
And then Gray sets about, puts on these black
thick
rubber
black
gloves,
thick rubber gloves,
and then like opens up the bag, actually cuts open the bag, and then pulls the stuff, pulls the thing out. You could see that the bag seems to also now have like kind of a coating of the black viscous fluid, and they dab at it, put it under a microscope, and then they pull some of the hairs off of the thing, and some time passes. The two of you are there, I imagine killing some time or whatever, and then Gray says, okay, I can give you some preliminary stuff. I'm going to keep researching it.
What do we got there?
This viscous stuff, I don't really understand how, but it seems to be some kind of mutated form of God, I have it written down.
Is it bile?
No.
Good. No, we don't need that again.
It's different. Of my God, salmonella.
Wait, I was touching salmonella?
God damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Well, at least I washed my hands.
Yeah.
I look over and I see that there are, along with the lint and the dust, of course, that was in the feather, I noticed the large chunks of oats from the Nature Valley bar. And the disappointment is just all over my face yet again. I don't say anything because,
of course,
what's the worst that happens at this point?
And so, though there is like also that little bit of like, you probably wouldn't have found the feather.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah, I wasn't going to find it.
That's almost the most frustrating aspect of it. And so, oh my God, Hollis, did I say?
Gray.
And Gray says, also, it seems like maybe you have do you find you have like really dry skin?
I'm sorry, you talking to me?
Yes.
I mean, sometimes, like when it's cold or when it's humid.
Yeah.
Or
it looks like you might have eczema. There were some skin flakes on this. It just seems like you might have eczema. You might want to look into it.
I mean, it could have been the murdered guy's skin too, right?
It's I guess it's possible. There was a murdered guy?
Oh, yeah. There was a whole thing. But we're looking into it. This is just the one piece of evidence we were able to bring with us.
Yeah, we got backstage.
Everything else is being transferred to you know where.
We got backstage passes to Taylor Swift.
We didn't see Taylor Swift.
Oh.
But we went backstage.
It was awesome.
Oh, yeah? You liked it?
It was really good.
That's great. I'm glad you had a fun time.
I can't believe you missed it. It was like best show I've ever seen her do.
Yeah, I had plans.
We were backstage, though.
Oh, my God. Really?
Yeah.
Did you meet her?
No, but we were in her dressing room, and I was like looking at her dresses.
Okay, I don't think you need to give them all the information about what we saw at the crime scene. Okay. This is a lab, so we have to differentiate. He also doesn't work for our program, so we can't tell them everything, okay?
Okay. I understand. I completely get it. That's fine. So don't tell them about how the guy is missing his arms and legs, and it looked like they had been taken off by rotating teeth.
Oh, my God. What? Rotating teeth?
Just...
Well, it looked like
like
a machine.
Gray turns, like is in like one of those spinny like office chairs, and like turns and pushes away from where you're standing to like a bookshelf, and pulls down a volume, and starts going through it, and is like, no, and is like, not, it's not the, no, it's not that. It's not the squonk. No. Squonk doesn't have rotating teeth. What is it? No, not the Bernathan beast. I know I saw it somewhere. I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna look into this.
I really appreciate it, but please don't say anything. We're not supposed to let out a certain amount of information, which I've gone over with you before, Steve. But it's too late now, and we appreciate your efforts to assist us.
And Gray just like puts a hand up, like you got it, but is really invested now in the book. Like is not like is like has a mystery that they're trying to solve, and is just barely is like yeah. No, I won't tell anyone. And then basically Gray is trustworthy.
Yeah.
Gray is like in a secret society, like
of course. I actually trust them deeply.
Yes.
I just again my brain is so charged with getting written up at work and my bosses and what happens when I don't follow these fucking protocols that I don't agree with.
Right.
That I am so gun shy about anything going wrong, and I am always being paired with Steve really sets me up for so many hurdles to have to cover with paperwork that he doesn't know how to file.
Right. And so I think right here you get a phone call, and it's from Kirk. It's from Detective Daniels, and he says, "Hey, we found one of the backup dancers was the person who saw the body first, and apparently she may have witnessed something.
Okay.
If y'all want to interview her,
absolutely. Do you have her name and contact information for me?
And he says, I've already sent it over.
Oh, thank you so much.
And he says she's staying at the Ramada.
Taylor should really put people up in better hotels.
I actually want to just go ahead and pause you right there because I understand that you put together this game, but Taylor does put her people in better hotels.
I panicked when I started thinking of a hotel, and I was like, I should have fucking thought of a hotel.
You could just said a hotel.
Okay,
you could just said a hotel, but there's no way she's putting her people in a Ramada. She paid her truck drivers millions of dollars in bonuses because she's a billionaire now. So just be better.
Fair. What hotel?
Probably the Doubletree or the Sofitel.
The Waldorf Hotel.
The Waldorf Astoria?
Yeah.
No, you can't put the whole staff there.
Taylor should.
Yeah, well, the overflows at the Ramada.
Yeah, the overflows.
But yeah, that wouldn't be a dancer then. But the fucking crew maybe.
Listen, I'm
But
gonna
not a
say
backup.
Doubletree or Hilton or the Marriott.
The Marriott.
Okay, Marriott's fine.
Okay, I'm glad we could agree on this.
So
Okay.
he says, I'm sorry, not the Ramada. That's where I'm currently staying. I don't want to get into it. It's at the Marriott. I'm sorry. And you see he gets real, he's on the phone, gets real flustered, and then is
no explanation necessary.
Anyway, I already told her that you'd probably be stopping by. Her gives you her room number and tells you her name is Gia Adair, Jiaadair, and then he says, anyway, I gotta get going.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, really appreciate it.
And then when you hang up the phone, Steve's like, "Hey Jane, it doesn't sound like things are going well for that guy. I think he's dealing with a divorce. That's why."
Steve, we cannot talk about other people's personal lives, Steve.
I mean, we can. We're doing it right now. Also, the volume on your phone is very loud.
I think right there we cut. And do you want to take
We'll take a commercial break. This episode of the Pearlmania 500 Case Files has been brought to you by
Pearlmania, 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 Pearlmania
500
Case Files. We see the two of you are in a really, really nice office. like
rich brown leather chairs.
Yes, and you are each in a leather chair in front of this desk that has practically an easy chair.
Yeah,
the easy chair of office chairs as the thing, and it's empty. And the two of you are here, and we see Jane looking at her watch to show that you've been waiting a little while. And then the door opens, and Tom Waits walks in. And he just kind of, he's holding a briefcase under his arm, like not holding it in his hand. And it seems like it's open. And there is something in it that is trying to get out of the briefcase, and he is arguing under his breath with it, saying, "No, shut up, shut up." And then he sees the two of you and is like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? Sorry, I'll be right with you." And then he sits down in the chair, and then spins it around, opens a filing cabinet, dumps whatever's in it into the filing cabinet, and then struggles to close the filing cabinet, slams it, turns back around, takes off his hat for a moment, smooths his hair back, and then puts the pork pie hat back on, adjusts his tie, and says, "Now, how can I help you two?"
Just wanted to check in about a case that we're up on right now. I have some information. I wanted to pass it by you, maybe to get some more directions on how you'd like us to move forward.
Okay, all right, okay. So what is it, what type of creature does it seem to be that you're chasing down?
You know, we don't have a name for it at this time. We do know that it is a danger to humans.
Okay.
It has removed the body parts of a person.
Oh, and it's a dirty salmon.
Okay, and
It's a salmon?
It's a dirty salmon. Remember, because that's what Gray said. Gray said that it's a dirty, it's a vicious salmon.
Okay, how about
Yeah?
just hold on for me and
Okay.
let me give him the rest of the report, and then we'll
Okay.
get back to you, okay?
You see Tom Waits, who is playing himself,
Yeah.
is writing on a notepad, fish.
Yes, it is not a fish, sir. I wouldn't be clear.
Crosses out,
Thank
just
you.
crosses out the
Thank
fish.
you. We have found there's an oily substance that it leaves behind, a viscous, like Steve had just said. The thing that we notice is that it's actually being absorbed into the dead carcass, which again, there's no blood flow, but somehow this fluid is still moving through the veins of this dead body. We also found tracks, which it went into the sewer system that goes under Lincoln Financial Field. So I do think that potentially it could be aquatic. I do not think it's a fish. I want to be clear, because the teeth that it used seem to rotate almost like a table saw. And we
Rotating
cannot
teeth.
actually
And
fathom
then you
how
see he
that
pulls
would
out another notebook and he
Yeah.
writes down rotating teeth. And then he writes down under it, possibly in A minor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also we have somebody we have to go interview. It's a backup dancer staying at a very fancy hotel. Not a bad hotel like the way this divorce detective's staying.
A witness?
A possible.
Potential. We are going to be talking to her shortly. We wanted to check in with you, but yes, she potentially saw something, but I don't know if she saw what we witnessed in the aftermath. I don't know that she'd be just checking back into her hotel. It seems like there'll be something that day she probably would have freaked out and contacted us right away.
Got it. So why don't we do this? It seems like we may have a time crunch on it fleeing into the sewers. So, Doe, why don't you go investigate the sewers?
Okay, absolutely.
Stay on comms. If you need backup, ask. We'll send someone. You're pretty good with people. Why don't you go interview the dancer?
Who are you talking to?
He's talking to you.
I'm
Talking to me?
Stevenson.
He keeps looking over his shoulder. Me?
Stevenson.
Oh, yeah, Stevenson. That's my
Yes.
name. Okay.
He tilts his head really? And then he's like, Stevenson. Yes.
Yes.
That's your name.
I'll go talk to Gia.
Yes, you're gonna go talk to Gia at the
Yeah.
Marriott.
Okay. All right. I got this. I got this.
Yes, you
and
do.
then he's like, all right. well, good luck. And like you see behind him, the filing cabinet starts like shaking violently. And he just like hits it without looking back, like once, and it stops. And then he says, Stevenson, why don't you hang back for a moment? I have something I need to talk to you about.
Oh, okay.
Great. I'm going to go.
Bye, Jane.
As Jane walks out,
I do not say goodbye to him.
right. The door closes behind her, and he says, "You've really got to be better about keeping up your identity if you want to keep this secret."
I'm sorry, boss. I just, I'm not used to not using my last name. It's just weird.
Why don't you want her finding out? Why don't you want her finding out?
Well, because, then she's going to think, like, the only reason I got this job is because, like, my last name's Winchester, and that's why I'm here, and not because I'm, like, good at my job, and that I'm one of the best people for this role. Right?
Why don't you go interview the backup dancer? Just try, if you don't want her to know you're a Winchester,
Yeah.
then make sure you answer to Stevenson.
Okay. I'll make sure. I'll work. I'll do better.
All right. No, also, can you send one of the containment teams in here?
Oh, yeah,
On your
sure.
way
Definitely.
out? Yeah,
Definitely.
thank you.
Do you want the containment orange or containment yellow?
Make it red.
Okay. I'll be right back.
And
When he opens the door, he's like, Code Red!
Right.
Code Red! Containment team! Code Red stat!
Stevenson,
Yes, sir?
subtly.
Oh. Code Red.
So like we see you walking off saying code red, and we cut to the sewers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we see you. We see Agent Jane going down the
Ladder.
area.
Yeah.
Now this isn't like this is the picture. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sewers, like where it's mostly dry.
Yeah.
There is some drops apparently, but they stop. Huh.
I walked away from the pipe
right.
that was leaking.
And we see you do. I picture we see you do the thing where you pull out the gun and have your flashlight on top of the gun.
Yeah, flashlight
kind of thing.
always.
As you are looking around, I'm gonna have you roll investigate a mystery as you're trying to track this thing.
Okay, investigate a mystery.
And you rolled another 7. Mm-hmm. And so you get to ask one question here.
Oh. All right, let me see here. Now, I have no idea what I'm looking for. I'm pointing the gun in every direction because you never know what's going to happen. So there could be an alligator, there could be a person who lives down there. So I'm always alert, but I do want to know what sort of creature I'm actually looking for here.
Got it. As you are tracking it, you actually see there is like no one's really been down here. It's very dusty, but there are spots where that ichor is. But you can also see in the dust, you can see its prints pretty clearly.
Yeah.
They do appear to be some kind of almost bird-like thing. You do see a couple more of those feathers as you are tracking it, just stuck to the walls in places where it had to squeeze through, which also shows you kind of its size.
Yeah.
It is at least a little bit bigger than a person. And you can see from the feathers, you can see that it is at least somewhat bird-like, though that's not always... birds don't have teeth.
Yeah.
So like you know that's not always a perfect explanation of everything. But as you are doing this, I think that you see that the sewers here, the area of the sewer opens out into the Broad Street line. So you can see that there is a subway line. And you can see as you are tracking this thing, you see it in the distance.
Yeah.
And you see that it is the moment that it touches the train tracks, it becomes a blur.
Oh, okay.
But what you see in the moment before that happens is a very hunched over thing. It looks somewhat like the shape of a of a velociraptor. It has those big legs in the back, though they seem multi-jointed.
Okay.
Like they kind of loop up a little over its body, and it is hunched over. It has like a big head with like kind of a cone-like beak or trunk or something. You only really see it in silhouette. And again, as it touches the train tracks, it becomes a blur sliding down the train tracks. And you lose it.
Yeah.
Down the broad street line, going north.
Go.
Well, you were all the way sat, so like it's going north.
It's going north. Got it.
So that's that's what you can tell of what sort of creature it is. I'm going to cut kind of back and forth here. We see Agent Jane. We cut from Agent Jane Doe in the sewers.
Yeah.
To was it the Marriott?
The Marriott.
Yeah.
The Marriott Hotel, where we see you walk up to the front desk, because you're going to this hotel to find this woman, and they just immediately start treating you like you are a guest there.
Hi. Yeah, I'm actually here to meet somebody.
Oh,
I'm
great,
looking for Gia Adair.
Okay.
They just told me she was at the hotel. They didn't tell me what room she was in.
Okay. They definitely did
definitely
tell
did-
you,
they definitely did
but
tell you what room
I
it was.
love that you don't know that. It's like, well, I can't just call any room. And then you hear from behind you a voice, a woman say, are you from the agency?
Yes, I'm from the agency.
And you turn and you see a short, slight woman there who is she's wearing like a big coat and she's got it wrapped around herself, and you recognize this is this is the coat that you saw the agent in, like the trench coat that you saw Agent Daniels in. That he wrapped it around her because she was like scared or whatever. And
Detective Daniels.
Detective Daniels.
Okay.
What did I say?
You said agent, and it threw me off.
Fair.
You're
Detective
talking
Daniels.
you're talking about divorced detective Kirk Daniels.
It's a separation. It's not divorce. It's separation.
Oh, okay.
But he's not here, so he wouldn't say that.
Yeah. Oh, are you Gia?
Yeah. And who are you?
Well, I'm hungry, but beyond that, I'm here to interview you about what you saw.
Okay, hungry.
This place has a cafe, right? Do you guys have a cafe? He turns to the front desk.
She's like, and like you turn like away from her. And it's like, oh yeah, we do. We have a cafe, and like she points it out to you.
Gia, do you want a coffee? I want a coffee. Do you want a coffee?
Yeah, actually, a coffee would be really nice.
Okay, great. And so we go over to the cafe area that's connected to the lobby.
Yeah.
No, listen. I got it. You sit down. You sit down. I have like this is a good week for me. I just sold a couple Magic cards and they actually turned out really well, like on how the return on them, so I can actually afford lunch.
Do you play Legacy?
No. I mostly just buy and sell. I just like the trading. I used to play when I was a kid, but now I just buy and sell the cards. I don't
She's
really.
like, I play Blue White Control and Legacy.
Oh wow!
I also have an EDH deck if you play EDH.
No, I'm not really into EDM music. So he goes up and he starts and he gets coffees and like some light sandwich type of stuff.
Roll me a charm roll.
Charm roll.
Actually, yeah, roll me a charm roll.
Rolling a charm. 12. Advanced success.
Whoa.
Advanced success.
Yeah.
So I think that you notice like very shortly as you are talking to her, you just like ease her. She goes from being like kind of suspicious and looking around to just openly talking to you.
Yeah.
I think like about magic at first.
Yeah.
Right? She's like, oh, it's cool. Like, well, you know, if you're investing, like you might want to follow some of the decks because like depending on what's popular in the meta, the cards will go down. And
Oh no. The way I invest is if I like the picture, I buy a lot of it.
she like just like sighs very heavily and she's like, yeah, okay.
I mean, because it's art, right? Like it's an art, and there's like Like my buddy told me about how you could buy these pictures of apes online, right? And there was only a certain amount of apes, but then I was like, well, there's only a certain amount of magic cards, right? Both of these things are art.
She puts her hand on yours and she says, I love NFTs.
Oh, okay. Speaking of, he puts his hand on top of hers again to almost play like that baseball bat game. Yeah. And he goes, well, speaking of NFTs, it would be real nifty if you told me how you saw your coworker get murdered.
She just like laughs at the of the nifty thing, and she's like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to use that on some of our discords.
Okay.
And she says, oh, it was so awful, Chet. And Chet he's really demanding, but
was
right, yeah, was.
You don't want to use the wrong verb, especially is versus was. It really gets people.
You're right. That would be a really mean thing to do about my friend.
It would be. He was more of a coworker, I think. We haven't established you as your friend.
When we were friends, he and I and Taylor, we played EDH together.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it makes sense that Taylor would be into EDM.
It's EDH, Elder Dragon Highlander. It's a format of Magic the Gathering.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so Chet was like standing there. He looked like he went to investigate something in the shadows, and I was sneaking a smoke. I'm not. I quit. I'm not really supposed to be smoking cigarettes, so I just kind of. There's a break in the set where I'm not needed, so I really need. It's stressful. She's so talented. I feel so lucky.
Well, you really shouldn't smoke. I mean, you're a backup. Are you a backup dancer, right?
Yeah.
Well, you got to keep up your cardio and all those different things.
I know,
it's really not great to be
It's
smoking
not.
cigarettes.
But I saw him. He looked like he was. He bent down to see something, and then this thing attacked him. It was.
Can you describe the thing for me?
Horrifying. She says, "You're gonna think I'm crazy."
Oh, you would be, but you would not believe how I won't think you're crazy.
She says it had this blue tuft of fur or feathers, and these small beady black eyes.
Okay,
but the white part of the eyes.
Not the pupil?
The iris.
Is that what it's called?
It didn't have irises. It was just this beady black eye covered with these pink translucent lids.
Okay.
And it just I saw it blink in the darkness at him before it shifted, and it had this long snout. And the snout opened up.
Uh-huh.
And a whirring sound started.
A whirring sound?
Yeah, like a grinding or
Okay, so did it sound like this? Did it sound like or did it sound like or did it sound like
more like none of those. It sounded more like a what do you call it? Like a garbage disposal?
Oh, okay, so like a
exact. She keeps on trying to exact.
But if you run, that's why you have to. If it sounds like that, you should run water.
And then when it attacked him, it sounded like when a spoon gets stuck in the garbage disposal.
Yeah, so it's like
she shivers and she's like exactly like that.
Yeah.
And she says, and it had this long black tongue.
Black tongue.
And it moved like, how snakes move their tongues?
No, can you describe that to me?
Where they because snakes don't have they smell with their tongues.
I didn't know that.
So they he was it looked like he was tasting the air
Okay.
She says that's what I saw, and then it moved so quickly.
Yeah, it was very fast.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a man.
didn't look like a man.
Okay, so it's some sort of weird, like, reptile with feathers?
I guess it could have been feathers. It looked like fur from my angle, but it might have been feathers.
Okay, because I found a feather.
Okay.
Yeah. And they just kind of like, all right, well, I think this is good information. We can do a lot here to make sure that, like, I guess we avenge, what's his name again? Chet? Yeah, well, I think we're going to try.
Chet Stafford.
We're going to try to avenge him. Don't cry. And he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out and he slides a Yu-Gi-Oh card across to her. And he goes, this one's my favorite. And every time you're sad, just look at this card and think of your friend and just know that you're safe.
She like looks down at it and she's like, "Is this a foil blue eyes white dragon that you just raw dogged in your pocket?"
He's like, I mean, I got a lot of them.
What is this black oily substance all over it?
Wash your hands.
I think that's a perfect place to cut. We cut back to I think actually we cut back as y'all are getting back together. Mm-hmm. So you know that it is somehow connected to the subway. It seems to be able to travel on the subway lines. Mm-hmm. You know a description of what it kind of looks like and how it seemed to move and stuff.
Yeah.
I imagine you share those things with each other.
Yeah. It's as almost as if it's like its mouth is a blender.
Okay.
And it just chews things up by
like
going,
a NutriBullet?
Like a magic bullet, yeah.
Like a magic bullet?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, kind of like one of those. Mm-hmm. And then also,
I don't know who that was that said that. It's just like someone walking by who's like, "You mean the magic bullet?" Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it just sounds like it just grinds them up.
Okay.
And then apparently, I guess it smells like a snake.
So it uses its tongue to smell the air?
Oh wow, I thought you were gonna get that backwards, but yeah, no, it definitely uses. That's what Gia said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it has black eyes.
Okay.
That are like soulless.
Okay. Well.
And it might be like a perfect, fast-moving killing machine.
Huh. Yeah. I would also say that from what I found in the sewer system, I do believe that it was incredibly quick, and I think it's using our underground infrastructure to travel through the city, which is incredibly dangerous. To know that it can have access through any sewer point using the subway or the L or any other underground trains that used to be before they were shut down in the 80s. So that's really concerning.
Well, I mean, the good news is like luckily the city of Philadelphia has really poor underground infrastructure. So there's only so many places it can go. Like it can go north or south, and it can go a little bit east and a little bit west. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, that's your only real options.
Okay, so you're picturing the tracks that are still currently used.
Yeah.
There are other tracks under there that we stopped using in the 80s, if not earlier. But so there's places to hide is what I'm saying. I'm concerned about that.
Why would we stop using them in the 80s? It feels like that would mean that our entire...
Just then you get a phone call from the lab.
Yeah, okay, great.
It's Gray Hollis who says, hey, I was doing some research and I have a little bit more information.
Oh, thank you so much for calling. I really appreciate it.
Possibly on the creature. And
okay.
She says, they say there's a chemical in the feather that is unlike anything I've seen from a bird. Like, I don't think this is a bird feather. And they say there is like an ionization to some of the feathers that is similar to like a static electricity caused by the feathers moving with this viscous fluid.
Oh, okay.
That seems to have like a kind of spark or some kind of electrical discharge.
So in the way that like an oil in a car engine would protect the engine, this is actually dangerous with the amount of speed the feathers are moving at. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like it builds up a static.
Like it builds up an electrical charge as it moves quickly. Yeah. Huh, that is really interesting.
And with that information, you understand that that's probably how it's doing that thing where it blurs so quickly on the tracks. And then Gray says, okay, so based on the rotating teeth thing and the body, I couldn't remember where I had seen something like this. I looked in my case books. It wasn't in my case books. There are some unsolved cases, and I'm gonna email them to you. I'm sending them over to you.
Okay.
I've put them on a map so that you can see where they all are. This has been around for years.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of unsolved cases about this.
Is there like a space between the years? Is this because I feel like we would know about it more if we found this type of dead body that often with such mutilation and horror. So is it every 5 years, every 10 years? How are we missing this?
It's about every 7 years. But
all right.
a whole crop of them come up.
Got it.
Like a 7-year itch.
Something
You know what?
Again,
Yep.
your phone's very loud.
I actually have it on speakerphone because I wanted you to hear this.
Oh.
I'm always trying to let you be a part of what we're doing here and incorporate you into the team.
I appreciate that.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing. Mm-hmm. Does the name David Winchester mean anything to you?
Yes, absolutely.
That's your uncle.
Oh, okay.
That's your uncle. Just like I'm not. They don't know that, but
Yeah.
I
that's
don't
your
know
uncle. It seems like his name is brought up in a lot of the investigations,
Of course.
and then the investigations seem to be stopped.
All right. Thank you for that information. If you could do me a favor, and I know I don't need to ask this of you, but if you could not share that with anyone else.
Of course not.
Steve,
Yeah?
you don't share this with anyone else either, okay?
Absolutely not. I
Great.
would. I don't know anything about the actual Winchester family.
Great. I didn't say that. I meant anyone because I know that you just tell people on the street things.
I'm sorry.
So we want to keep that very locked down, that information, and I'll follow up with it.
All right. Hey, Gray. I just want to say you're awesome, and thank you so much. It's really cool that you're hanging with us like our own lone gunman.
Sure.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks, Gray.
Bye, Steve. Jane, we'll talk soon.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
And then they hang up.
Jan, are you guys dating?
No, what? Why would you ask that?
I don't know. I'm just wondering if you're single.
Okay, that is none of your business.
Okay.
And we don't need to have to talk to HR again.
I'm not asking you out. I just want to know more about you. We work together a lot. You just never tell me anything about you, just like business.
Yes.
He does have a point. Gray says, "Still from your phone." Apparently, it's like partners do share information. This is
Okay,
like not
everyone. I like to keep my work and my personal life separate, as everyone knows. I'm not comfortable sharing information about myself. And I also don't go asking information about you.
I noticed.
Yeah.
Well, then, if that's the truth, Gray again. It's like, then how come you invited me to your book club?
Dude, so you're inviting Gray to book clubs, but like I read sometimes. Mm-hmm. I'm reading this book right now. It's about these fairies in this court, and they just it gets raunchy. I'm gonna let you know.
Oh, you're reading that book?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's pretty
I'm
good.
Not surprised.
What do you mean you're not surprised?
Wow.
Anyway,
Okay, so
it was great.
Thank you so
catching
much
up.
for calling.
Hey, let someone in.
Okay.
And then click. And I think from there, I'm just like, you get a notification and you see a
Ding.
map.
Yeah.
And I think we just see you in the lab in your van, just like overlapping in Photoshop, and seeing they seem to line up to most of the MFL and L stops.
Got it.
There don't seem to be any that are connected to the turned off, like the non
The ones that were closed.
the
in the
ones
80s.
that
The
were closed
non-active
down.
ones. So,
right.
yeah, okay.
So it seems like only the active ones.
Only the most active areas.
Oh, okay. So it's not because our infrastructure was devastated to make sure that we could sell more cars.
No.
No, okay. So actually our devastated infrastructure here in the city of Philadelphia has actually improved people's lives by leaving less areas for this monster to kill.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll drive our Ford Transit 250 2023 XL edition to wherever we need to go on that map.
Okay, so the first place we're going to go is it seems to be hitting all the sporting venues, which is so specific. So we know it actually hit the link. So I think maybe we should go over to the Wells Fargo Center and see if there's any information, if there's any access sewer points. That way we could see how this thing is getting through.
What if it's just gritty? And we're back. All right. So I guess Steve and Jane are now walking into the Wells Fargo Center, which is next to the Lincoln Financial Field, which is across the street from Citizens Bank Park. Just for people who don't live in Philadelphia, all of our sports stadiums and all of our big major arenas and everything are right next door to each other in one massive parking lot off the highway.
It's hell when you have to park there.
It's a fucking nightmare.
Also, if you happen to live in South Philadelphia, which, if for whatever reason, just hypothetically, if we are winning, it sounds like that stadium is in your living room.
Yes,
like any of those stadiums.
When you're in South Philly and it's a playoff and somebody's winning, it does, and a local team is winning. It feels like the orcs invading Helm's Deep and marching up the street towards your house. Those are all similar experiences.
Yeah, the windows shake and rattle.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're at the Wells Fargo Center. We're walking in.
Okay. So as you walk in, you are hearing people just like talking to each other about the weird SEPTA delays, and that the subway is like running weird. And normally for a Flyers game, which is what's going on, they will have the express trains running
more
and stuff.
subways than ever go.
Yep.
It is way fewer. Every one of the subways was crowded. So there is just a big glut of people that are all just kind of arriving instead of a little early, like on time to this event that is starting as y'all walk in. You get a bad feeling about this situation. You have a battlefield awareness, so you always know what's happening around you. So I'm going to have you both roll read a bad situation, which is up in one of your moves.
Got it. Submit. 9 for me.
Great.
I don't see that.
It's at the top of your list, or in the list at the top.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, you closed your hunter moves. Hold on. It's there. You go. Wait, I opened it so that you can see what it does.
That's me.
I know. I opened it for both of you.
Oh. Okay.
So hit the dice right next to read a bad situation, and you get one hold on this, so you get to ask one of these questions from the list under read a bad situation. Scroll up. Right there, the one that's opened down a little bit. Right there. Read a bad situation.
Found it, everybody.
Great.
I don't know how to use Roll20
Just
very well.
Roll you got it.
Thrilling radio.
Sorry, guys.
All right, you both got a mixed success. So you each get to ask one of the questions on this list. I did say that you got a bad feeling about it, so I'm going to start with you. What is your question?
I don't like large crowds. They are an immediately dangerous situation. Outnumbered. There's a lot of people, a lot of personalities, and when people get upset and nervous in large crowds, stampedes, trampling, all of it, and also you can't. All of your senses are really overwhelmed. There's a lot of smells. There's a lot of noise.
Yeah.
It's just an overwhelming experience. And while I handle it and I take a deep breath through it, it's not my favorite place to be, and it immediately puts me on alert, like you said. So what I want to know is, what are the dangers I'm not noticing? Because I am overstimulated right now and trying very hard to zone in, but what am I not noticing?
So there's this, you're hearing all of these sounds, all these people talking, you're catching snippets, and then you're getting assaulted by these smells. But there's something there that your brain is telling you is wrong. And as you take a deep breath, center yourself, and then you breathe in again, and you smell this ozone-y smell, like would happen with an electrical discharge.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can hear somewhere far off, like that, like a grinding sound. And you just know, somewhere, the creature is here.
Yeah.
Steve,
What's my best way in?
okay, I'm gonna ask for a clarifying question. Your best way in to the hockey game?
No, it just says here. You ask them one of the following questions.
Yes.
What's my best way in?
Right, but I am asking clarification as to where in is for you.
Oh,
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I could give you what's your best way in.
Are you trying to get in the hockey game?
Well, do I know where the grinding's coming from?
What's your best way into?
Am I hearing the grinding? Do I know where the grinding is coming from?
No, you don't hear the grinding. That's like,
Okay.
that's something that Jane figured out and is like, maybe is like, it's here. And then you're like on alert and you're like, okay. So what's okay? I could give you an answer of like,
Because I'm trying. Like, listen, if I know where the grinding is, then I'm going towards the grinding, and I'm assuming because there's crowds of people trying to get in and out of a hockey game right now, that there is a way to get through the crowd, and so I'm just like doing my crowd snaking through towards where we think the noise is coming from.
okay. So here's what I'll say as well. You are, as we have known,
Kevin James.
you are very into sports.
Yes, except hockey.
Except you're not like all that knowledgeable about hockey.
That's stupid. It's a waste of resources to make an arena cold.
Right. But because it's different than all of the other sports arenas, you're like, the ice has got to go somewhere where it melts, right?
Yeah.
And
They got
you're
a
like,
drainage.
There's got to be a drainage system. And you're like, if it's coming up from the subway, there's a drainage room. There's like a room that empties out into the sewer. And then you, with your knowledge of other stadiums, you're like, I know where it is. Like, you just like, and then he does this sometimes where it's like, he is inept. You know he is inept.
Yeah.
And then like a weird, like a Kevin James movie. I was about to pull for a metaphor. It's like a Kevin James movie.
Yeah.
He has the answer somehow.
Yeah.
I turn to...
It's incredibly frustrating to me.
Steve Stevenson turns to Jane and just goes, I got this. What could go wrong? And then charges towards...
Why does you have to say the last
directions.
part of that every time?
and I use my move, what could go wrong?
Sure.
Whenever you charge into immediate danger without hedging your bets, you can roll.
Great. So take the 2 hold to do that. I'm just going to mark it here. Now you can spend those as the scene continues to do one of these 3 things. Inflict 1 harm.
Yep.
Reduce someone's harm suffered by 1. Take +2 forward on an act under pressure roll.
Gotcha.
So what this looks like to me is you just start barreling through the people
headed
sideways.
basically
like,
towards
in
the
a
pump.
different direction from where everyone else is going.
Yeah.
And like Jane is just like, just follows you like, this idiot's gonna get himself killed. Like, and you just stride. I'm not even gonna make you roll for this. You just stride like a white man with confidence through an area that clearly is marked no, like, and they just like the person apologizes to you for being in your way. Like,
security guard's like, oh, sorry. It's like,
yeah, it's just like, I'm sorry. And then like, I guess, are you with him? Okay. And just like, go ahead. And it's like, we've, as you're like walking away, he says, we have been having some weird problems with the drainage system.
we got to check the pump room.
As you are getting close, the smell is intensifying.
The ozone smell.
The grinding has stopped. It was like brief, but the ozone smell is just still here. It's like somewhat, it begins to permeate the hall as you go through. I picture this, like in every single horror style TV show, when they go into a place where suddenly the basement is like an abandoned factory.
Yeah.
And there's like,
it's massive.
It's just that. It's like, and it's like everything is dripping with like With this time, it makes sense. I was gonna say everything's dripping for some reason, but here, this is the under in the drainage room.
Yeah.
So you see there is like a large drainage grate laying on the floor, away from
where
it should be,
Yeah.
bent in half.
Oh, okay, good.
And you can this room just has that smell everywhere.
Jane, whatever this thing is, it's strong. Okay?
Yeah.
And I pull out my gun.
Where? Okay,
It's not
I want
loaded.
you.
It's not
I understand. Can you pull
You
out?
took my bullets.
I know I did, and I'm not giving them back right now. Where's your flashlight?
I left the flashlight in the van so I could carry my nunchucks. I pull my nunchucks out where my flashlight holster is on my belt.
God. So, okay, so I'm going to pull out. I have a backup flashlight because, of course, I fucking do. I'm going to hand you a backup flashlight.
Thanks.
It's going to be really important, okay? It's
Okay.
really dark in here, and I don't want you to slip. There seems to be a lot of water on a lot of surfaces.
You're right. So I put the gun away, and I'm holding the nunchucks up and then holding the flashlight on top of them like it's a gun.
Like it's a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every now and then you you like spin it around under your arm and then back up to the flashlight.
Okay.
Oh yeah, is the one under your arm as you're like holding
Yes,
the other one up?
100%.
Yeah, great.
It's tucked.
Okay. So now this
That
is
way it's
still
ready for
you,
action.
What could go wrong charging into immediate danger?
Yeah.
So you have this little interaction, but then are you charging down there? Are you
Into the
continuing to go into the dangerous situation here?
Yeah, no, I'm heading right for the grinding.
Right. So the grinding sound isn't here anymore, but you do see where the grate got pushed open.
Yeah.
So you turn going down these stairs and looking down the stairs up at you, you see this creature.
Okay.
And you see it is somewhat hulking, like it is a
large beast.
It's like not cowering. Is like bent over.
Yep.
You see under a matted blue brow, it has these small beady black eyes with no iris, covered by these pink translucent lids that blink, and you can still see the like black eyes under them as it blinks. It has this matted, filthy green looking fur that's to be feathers. But the whole thing seems to be coated in this black ichor. So it looks like dark green almost. It has this long snout, which is wider at the opening, with the nostrils, and you can see small teeth sunken into the opening in the snout. And in its hunched body with it has these short, spindly arms and long, powerful, multi-jointed legs with broad joints. On each of its joints, it is covered with rough ridges and has this ichor on these sharp-coated spurs. And it's got these large, prehensile feet with talons. As it looks up at you, from its maw, a long, black, snake-like tongue comes out of the air about a foot from your face. Like reaches up the stairs about a foot from your face, and just like you see its little forked tongue just like flip it, and then like point,
it's smelling at me,
and then point at you.
yeah.
And with a click, you hear its in its jaw. It seems to disjoint its mandibles, and its snout lengthens. And with another click and another set of mandibles shift, and the snout opens wide, turning to look at you head on. You can see inside its mouth is a pale bone-like beak, behind which 3 rows of teeth shift against each other, making a grinding sound that you are now familiar with as it turns, or as it looks at you, and sensing you there, it lets out a blood-curdling shriek.
Okay.
What do you do?
So you said the tongue is a foot from me?
The tongue is like
Yeah.
you could reach out and grab it.
Yeah. I would like to I'd like to hit the tongue with a nunchuck.
Sure.
And as I do it, I yell, "Go back to the Galapagos Island, you fuck."
Great. The Galapagos Island?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it looks like the Flea Fanatic.
It does. You know, actually, now that you say that, that's weird. It does look a lot like the Philly Fanatic. That's
Yeah.
so weird.
Yeah, it took a little bit there. The green feathers like really threw me off. Once I put the snout and the tuft of blue is what finally did it, because he has this weird blue tuft over his eyeballs. But yeah, we're definitely fighting the Philly Fanatic.
Yeah.
Underneath Wells Fargo Stadium.
So I'm going to say, if you try to hit it, that's kick some ass.
Okay. But can I use one of my holds from
So you could just roll 1 to inflict 1 harm on this thing.
Yep.
Or you could just take one of those hold to inflict 1 harm on it which is just you hitting it with the thing. You could do that. You can still do that if you also roll to kick some ass.
Yeah, let's try kicks. Well, I'm hitting a tongue, so I feel like I'm just gonna get the one. I'll just do the 1 harm.
Okay. I will point out to you, just because, and for the listeners too, anyone who has played Dungeons & Dragons, combat in this works a little bit differently. There are not going to be as many rolls. We're not going to be like rolling to confirm.
Yeah.
I never roll.
Yeah.
The monster acts based on what y'all do and in your attacks. So you put this 1 harm on it. I just want you to describe what happens. Like, it has this like big.
So it's kind of this. It's kind of. I picture it this way. Imagine if Kevin James is in the movie Aliens, and when the second alien mouth comes out of the alien mouth, it's almost like that, except it's a black tongue, and so you get a side profile of Kevin James holding up the flashlight, like with the tongue, and then you just see the nunchuck pop from the other side, just go whap and just like smack the tongue. And then he goes, "Go back to the Galapagos Islands, you fuck." And then he's like standing there. And then I don't know what happens to the tongue.
Sure. The tongue like retracts back into the mouth, like blindingly fast. Like it just like as if it got like pulled back in. And the thing starts charging up the stairs.
Like it retracts fast, like when a tape measure gets retracted.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
It starts charging up at me?
Just up the stairs at whatever hit it.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to grab him by the collar. I'm going to grab him by the collar. Now, I have put my flashlight away at this point because I can see clearly what's happening because he's holding a flashlight. I have my firearm out and aimed at the Philly Fanatic, but I'm grabbing him by the collar to pull him out of the direct line that he's about to get run over.
It sounds like you're trying to help someone escape.
Yeah, and I was thinking about maybe rolling for Leave No Man Behind because we're going to get the fuck out of here.
So roll plus sharp.
Let's see. Plus sharp.
Full success. So on a 10 plus, you get them out clean. I think like this thing charges up and you see your whole life flash behind, like through your eyes. And I think I'm gonna give you a couple scenes, but could you tell me like 1 or 2 scenes from like a childhood scene that you see, just like quick, like a flash?
Sure.
A scene in like your 20s, and then I will tell you the last scene that you see.
The first scene, the childhood scene, is young Kevin James being told he's crying, and his mom's like, "Don't worry, baby. There's no such thing as monsters." And then in his 20s, it's his uncle like pulling a book, and these 2 wings, like these 2 bookshelves, open up, and it's just a wall of like cryptid skulls, and he's like, "I told you they're real." And then I guess then there's the third scene, which is
and you're a little older, but it's him again.
Yeah.
And you're in that same room with the skulls, and he says, "You know, your father thought that by now you'd have more skulls than me." And he says, "If you don't manage to kill at least 5 of these things and collect your own trophies, you're out of the inheritance." And as you see that, this thing's like mouth is like about to close on your face, and you're like, whoop, like just like pulled back. Are you shooting? Like, are you shooting this thing like as you do this? Like,
no, okay. I have not fired a bullet yet because I'm really strategic. Because again, I'm looking at the room. I can see ricochets. I can see things. I also don't want to hit him because he's so
of course,
insane with movement that if I aim wrong, it could accidentally hit him, and I have strict orders from the top to not let anything happen to him.
Meanwhile, I'm yelling, shoot, Jane, shoot it, kill it, kill it, kill it.
He has a lot of luck.
Yeah.
Good and bad. It's like a lot of unlikely things happen.
Yeah.
So great. So you pull him. Are you running? Like, what do you...
Yes, we're just running backwards because I am trying to get him out of harm, and I'm trying to find the best area to actually shoot this thing, take it out. And also I'm trying to shoot it, but I don't want to kill it because again, I want to collect the specimen. I want to be able to study this. The agency is going to want to review this thing. And so I need to just take a step back, get him out of harm's way, and then recalibrate how I'm going to take this thing out. And so I'm backing up, moving him, and keeping my firearm pointed at the Flea Fanatic at all times.
Great. So what I'm going to do then is you pull him, no problem. He is, you have pulled him out of danger. This thing charged past a little bit, and you turn and run in the opposite direction so that you can get some space between it.
Yeah.
I think you see these, those like the like walkways, the catwalks and stuff that are like real thin. Like you go through those so that it's like it can't really follow you as easily. And then I'm going to ask you to roll Act Under Pressure.
Let's see. We're going to roll Act Under Pressure. And we're going to pretend I know how Roll20 works and where that is. Wait.
If you roll up, scroll up to the top.
Okay, scrolling to the top, everybody.
It's one of the hunter moves. And actually, when it gives you the option, I'm going to say that because you've got Steve in tow, you're going to have to roll this with a -1.
Oh.
So you hit Act Under Pressure up at the top.
I get a -1 for Steve.
Right. It's just a little harder because you're like lugging Steve around. So just put in the -1 on the next screen.
-1. Thanks, Steve. My resentment grows.
Ooh, failure.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's a bad failure, too.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay. So this is what happens.
Okay.
You start running and you run into the in that area where the catwalks are, and you hear a click as something hitting metal.
Okay.
And you chance like a look behind, and you see that it has put one of each of its talons on the metal railings, and you see this discharge. Whoa. You see this discharge, and it shoots forward at you. I'm going to say that it barrels over you, knocking you back.
Yeah.
And you have some armor, I know, because you have...
Yeah. I wear the armor really tight and close so you can't actually tell I'm wearing it.
Real quick, I'm going to use my second hold.
Okay.
For what could go wrong. And I'm going to reduce someone's harm suffered by 1.
Okay.
By pushing Jane out of the way of the monster.
I love that. Okay. So this thing is like barreling at you. I'll tell you what the harm would have been, and then we'll reduce it. As it barrels into you, it knocks you back, and it would deal you 3 harm. You have 2 armor. From battlefield awareness, you get 1 and 1 from your flak vest. So you would take 1. It's reduced by 1. By what does that look like when
I just shove her?
Yeah,
it's just legit, just like a shove.
Okay.
I'm just like a full press, body press shove of just like get out of the way, like just watch out.
Both of you fall off the sides of the catwalk on either side.
Yeah,
it's not a long
directions.
fall. Like you fall, you're like, oh, like it kind of winds you both.
Yeah.
And this thing jumps down from the from the catwalk, between the two of you.
Yeah.
And it like does the thing again where it opens its mouth huge. You see these teeth grinding against each other, and it lets out this scream again. And then it I think it charges at you.
At me?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it has his scent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so and I think it's also frustrated because it was about to attack you,
Yeah.
and he saved you.
Yeah.
And so it just barrels at you, I'm going to have you roll act under pressure or kick some ass, depending on whether you try to fight it or with your nunchucks or whether you are trying to avoid it. And tell me what you're doing.
All right, so I'm going to try kick some ass.
Okay.
And let me roll that first.
Oh my God.
That's a success. Okay. And here's what I do. As it's barreling at me, I reach back for my gun and I throw it right at its eyes.
Throws the whole gun.
The whole gun. I throw my gun at it.
Okay.
But also, I want to be clear. I'm holding it from the barrel of the gun and I'm throwing it almost like a boomerang.
Yeah, like someone who is angry that they hit Superman with every bullet and
then like,
it didn't work.
And he's just like, and just chuck. So I just chuck the gun right at its face. I'm not aiming directly for its snout, but it would be cool to boop it on the nose. Just to be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So on an 11, you get to, if you look at kick some ass, you get to choose an extra effect. So normally what happens when you roll kick some ass, you deal your damage to it. It deals its damage to you.
Yeah.
You get to choose one of these, so you can either reduce some of that, or you can.
All right, so I want to take with that. I want to gain the advantage, and I'm going to give +1 to Jane because I've stunned it a little bit. I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you throw your gun at it, and it like barrels into you, like knocks you flat, and is standing over you.
Yeah.
And you like your arm is up like trying to stop yourself, and you see the snout close on your arm and that grinding starts, but it is distracted right now with Steve right here. I'm gonna say you're probably screaming.
No, definitely screaming. But the scream, by the way, not manly at all. It's a Kevin James scream.
Right.
More like
Yeah. I would say also, I feel like that's understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm about to have my arm grinded off.
Yeah.
So at this moment, I have been watching this entire scenario. I've been monitoring what's going on and following my eye line with my firearm at the beast. And as soon as it clamps down, I'm actually waiting for it to clamp down because I want it to close its fucking mouth so I can get a better shot at its brain. Because when it's open, it's so wide, I can't actually aim for its brain. So as soon as it closes, that exact moment, I'm going to fire and hit it right behind the right eyebrow in the temple.
Okay.
That's my aim anyway.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you how guns work in this game.
Okay, great.
Normally when you kick some ass, you have to roll.
Yeah.
Yep.
When you do other things, you have to roll.
Yep.
With a gun, you are a trained professional with a firearm.
Yeah.
You mark your damage. So you deal 2 harm close loud with your 9mm, or are you using your sniper rifle?
Oh, I'm using my 9mm. I have not pulled out my sniper rifle.
And so I think it's not
Have
just
a sniper rifle.
yeah. So
and more than that, I have so many other things.
So I think it's like you hear like 3 close, like bop bop bop, right?
Yeah.
Like they all hit, they don't all pierce. One of them pierces. This thing like, and like you feel like a wrenching, and you get pulled up and thrown over this thing. You don't.
Baby, you mean me?
Sorry, Steve. You don't even notice that you are flying through the air because instinctually you just look down at what is left of your arm, and it's your arm.
My full arm?
It's just got these like spiral like lacerations on it.
Okay, but I still have my arm.
But your
I
arm
can
is
still
there,
move my
and
hand.
you're like moving it, and you're like and then you like look as the ground hits you like like face on, right? Like as you land. So I'm gonna have you roll act under pressure here as you are landing. You're gonna roll this with a -1. I will remind you, you have 1 hold left, I think, for what could go wrong. No, you already used both. Okay.
Failure.
6. Okay. So in this is what happens. You put your hands out to stop yourself, and you're like the arm that has been like cut up.
Yeah.
It just buckles. Like you just
Break my arm.
Your arm just like breaks.
Yeah.
And
You scream again.
right. And I'm gonna say that's 2 harm.
Okay.
So harm is up at the top where it says harm. Cool.
I got it.
And Jane, it now has turned and is looking at you.
Yeah.
You have done 2 harm to it. From your expert opinion, you think that it could probably take another one of those.
Yeah.
Like it seems like not all of it is going through. It has like some pretty thick hide.
Yeah.
But you dealt it a significant amount of damage.
Yeah.
What do you do as it turns towards you?
Is it wobbly?
Yeah, I'd say it's wobbly.
It's kind of like it like when you have that equilibrium where you're kind of like, oh god, like it's getting its bearings again.
Right. And the floor where you have all landed, because of how cold it is and the drainage and everything, is like coated in like not ice, but you know that like frost, that slippery frost. So it's like kind of like a little bit off kilter trying to.
So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to. I at this point I believe I've fallen back on my back, so I'm going to lunge forward at it. I have a knife that is around my ankle, under my pant leg, and I'm going to grab it and I'm going to lunge forward at the Flay Fanatic and try to stab it in the neck.
Awesome. I'm going to have you roll kick some ass.
Okay, let's go back to where that is. Kick some ass. Okay. Submit.
Cool. So on a partial success, you deal your damage. It deals its damage to you. So you take 3 harm, which is 1 harm to you. So mark your harm up at the top. And I think that what that is it clawing at you with its like big leg. It just like comes up like way higher than it seems like it should be able to, rakes it across your like stomach, and then you grapple it and just like stab into it, and like you're kind of holding on with the knife and one hand is just like gripping these,
like someone who's like
gross
like ice
black
like a
coated feathers.
What's it called? Like when you go
ice climbing.
ice climbing. It's like
yeah.
I'm ice climbing him.
Yeah. And he is trying to like get you off, like making that same screaming sound. And as he does, you, for the first time looking up, and you're not in a great state. Your arm was just broken.
You're talking to Steve.
To Steve, sorry. But you look up and you see that it has this pink underbelly.
Okay.
That you haven't really been able to see before because it walks in this hunched over way.
Okay.
But it's got this like kind of softer looking pink underbelly. And right now it's just trying to get Jane off of itself.
Yeah. Well, I'm laying there with a broken arm.
Yeah.
I have no weapons.
You have a nunchuck.
A nunchuck is not going to do anything to an underbelly.
Yeah.
Is there anything around like a pipe or anything else that's out there?
You look down.
Yeah.
And you see Jane's gun.
Oh.
As Jane has jumped onto this thing, got knocked back, Jane's gun like slid over, and you like look down at it, and we just see every shot from every episode that has happened before this, which is like 15 shots of Jane being like, and it's like cut, so it's like, don't touch my gun. Stop touching guns. Don't use guns, Steve. And like, but it's like right there, and
I reach out, and the thing is Steve.
And you're using your bad hand, right?
I'm using my bad hand because my good arm's broken.
Yeah.
So I grab it and I go, Jane, get clear, and I just aim, and then I squeeze off however many shots I can. I just empty the clip.
Great. So here's the way I'll describe it for Jane.
Yeah.
Jane, you are on this, like, you fought cryptids before, but it generally doesn't get to hand. You are usually prepared. You have a sniper rifle, for God's sakes. Like, generally speaking, they don't move this fast.
Yeah.
You are not normally grappling one. So this is like a really intense situation. You look up and you see the scariest sight that you have ever seen.
I am immediately terrified.
Which is Steve holding a gun.
Yeah.
And he says, "Get clear." What do you do?
Oh, I am letting go. Like I'm falling off of a rock climbing thing. And I'm not taking into account how far I'm falling, how fast I'm falling. I am getting on the floor.
Roll act under pressure.
All right. Act under pressure.
Here, hold on.
Hold on, I'm looking. I'm sorry, everyone.
No worries.
Found it. Okay. Submit. I did it.
What'd you score?
12, full success.
Perfect success.
You like let go as this thing is like trying to get you off of it, like, and we see you do like a perfect full flip and land in superhero pose.
Yeah,
you know
I was
what
gonna
mean?
say,
Like,
I knew
you
it
just
was
like land as like the bullets, like the bullet shells are like landing on the ground as Steve is just like one-handed shooting at this thing, and
I'm unloading
by
a clip.
some kind of miracle, every bullet finds its way into this thing's belly.
Nice.
Maybe you've been left-handed this whole time. like maybe you just were left-handed. Like it's so bizarre. But you do that, and it's like exhilarating. It's like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing. And then it takes a slow step towards you, and another, and then it collapses, facing you, right, with its tongue like right up close to you again, and then you just see its like black eyes get covered by the pink and then fade to like a
Gray.
clear.
Yeah.
And you got your first kill?
Hell yeah, dude. I did it.
You did what?
What do you mean?
Thank you so much for assisting and helping me take out. We need to call it in immediately.
I did it though. I shot it in the belly.
Yeah.
You're like pointing, your
And
arm is like
We've talked about you shooting, and I'm grateful. Please put down the firearm.
right. You're pointing with the gun. Like, you're like, I did it. Like,
Please put down the firearm.
It's empty though.
Put it down, please.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
as
I
you
do.
like set it down,
Yeah.
one more bullet fires.
And because I'm gonna call it in. I'm gonna quickly on my cell phone call it in for backup, and we have a special system we have to call in for a cleanup crew that's very specific with like hazmat and all that. But I also do start looking at his bad arm.
Yeah.
Because I'm a trained medic.
Yes.
So I want to look at his arm because again, I can't let anything bad happen to him.
Right.
This is my main goal at all times.
I'm gonna have you roll when you deal with the agency requesting help or gear. You roll plus sharp. So if you see your move, the under your moves, the first one, as you are calling in the agency, roll the dice right at the bottom of that move.
Wait. Calling in the agency.
So it's this top.
This guy.
Yeah. If you rolled, there it is. There's the dice.
Okay. We're calling the agency for assistance.
Okay. So you get chewed out because this creature is dead.
Yeah.
Like one of the big things that they want. And you know why. It's because they hunt them.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know that.
Yeah.
So
And by
like-
you mean Steve.
Steve knows.
You know, because the listeners
hunt
can't
this
see
creature.
who
I
you're
know.
looking at
I
when you say
appreciate
you.
it. I appreciate you letting me know that.
And by you mean Steve.
Yes. No, I meant Alex in that situation, but yes.
Yeah.
So you get chewed out by Tom Waits.
Absolutely.
About it. But you did succeed. They do come. They do help. And meanwhile, as they're on their way, you investigate and try to fix his arm. You splint his arm definitely, but roll medic then.
Okay.
Okay. So you get to choose one. You either heal 2 harm or stabilize the injury. But I'm going to tell you what you discover as you're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Under like there is a small line in the spiral of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Where that black ichor has soaked into his blood.
Yeah.
And as you are trying, like you're splinting it and trying to like disinfect it, you see it kind of flow into his blood and then is gone.
Well, that really unnerves me immediately. Hate that. Well, what were the options again?
You either get to stabilize the injury or heal 2 harm. He has taken 2 harm.
Yeah, I'm gonna heal 2 harm.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And I think we'll cut there to the 2 of you in Tom Waits' office. Where Tom Waits is chewing you out and like, I can't believe you let him.
Only yelling at me,
I can't believe you let him kill this thing. I can't believe you gave him your service revolver. I can't believe and he's just doing that thing, and then suddenly behind him the what's it called? The
cabinet.
The cabinet starts like shaking and whatever, and he's like he starts kicking it while yelling at you like, I can't believe you did that. For a moment, the thing pops open and you see a small black tongue snake out, and he shoves it closed and he's like, get the fuck out of my office, you two. And as you both leave, Steve sees Dave Winchester, who is like your boss's boss.
Yeah.
And your uncle is standing out there, and he looks at you, and you're expecting him to really be angry.
Yeah,
but he doesn't look angry. Mm-hmm. And
I'm immediately suspicious.
Right, and he kind of ignoring you. Mm-hmm. Normally he talks to you.
Yeah.
He turns to Steve and he says, "Good job."
Thank you, sir.
And then he turns to you and says, make sure he doesn't die. And then he just walks off.
How do you know him?
It's office retreat. And that is when the credits roll. And that's been our episode. That has been our episode. His Name Was Dusk. Thank you so much for this wonderful,
so funny. I loved it.
Wonderful time. Yeah, the credits are currently rolling. Mm-hmm. We are going to be back to our regularly scheduled program with the end of Fucktober next week. We will get back to the topics that people have previously voted on. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say a big thank you again, because you did a lot of planning for this episode. His Name Was Dusk. Mrs. Pearlmania.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to say about the end of Fucktober?
Listen, it was so fun. It was a lot of ups and downs, y'all. We had a great time. We had a bad time. But we had a time, and that's all that matters.
That's true.
And it was fucked.
Yeah, it was fucked.
It was fucked.
Yeah,
and the time definitely did pass, and now we're entering November.
The greatest month of them all.
Yeah.
The month of Thanksgiving.
Okay. But with that, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to the Patreons. We'll get back to all of our Hey Huns, our team leads, and the feds all next week. So if you are looking into any of those things, you can go to pearlmania.net. We'll take you right to our Patreon page, and you can go join there.
For ad-free listening.
For ad-free listening and all those different things. His Name Was Dusk. Anything you want to plug before we go?
Hisnamewasdusk.com.
Yep, go there.
I mean, go there. You
it's
can
a great
find
website.
my music. You can find everything there.
Yeah, everything's there. Thank you so much. And with that, we bid you adieu.